All right, let's jump right in and talk about something that every single one of us has in common: aging. We're going to go way beyond the surface level stuff and really dig into the science and, maybe more importantly, the mindset behind living an incredible life, no matter how old you are. Let's do this.
We usually think about aging as what we see in the mirror, right? Wrinkles, gray hair. But what we're going to see today is that that's just a tiny, tiny fraction of the story. The real difference between someone who's thriving and someone who's just kind of getting by has so much less to do with how they look and everything to do with how they think, how they feel, and how they stay connected to the world around them. So, first things first, we need to get a baseline. What is actually happening to our bodies as time goes on? It's time to separate the facts, the universal, biological truths, from all the myths out there. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. At its core, aging is all about our cells. I mean, from the literal moment we're conceived, our cells start on this path. Over time, they just get a little less efficient at making copies of themselves, and some cellular junk starts to build up. It sounds kind of dramatic, but it's a totally natural process for every living thing.
So, how does that cellular stuff actually show up in our bodies? Well, take a look. Our arteries get a bit stiffer, which means the heart has to pump a little harder. Our bones naturally lose a bit of density. And yeah, in the brain department, things might slow down just a touch. It might take you a little longer to pick up a new skill. These are just the expected, normal changes for pretty much everyone.
Okay, and this is so important to get right. It's totally normal to forget where you put your keys sometimes. But severe memory loss, the kind that actually gets in the way of you doing daily things like getting dressed, that's not a normal part of aging. That's a sign to go see a doctor. Same thing with height. Losing a little bit is expected, but falling over and over again, that could be a sign of something else going on. Knowing the difference here is, well, it's everything. So, if we're all on the same physical journey, what's the deal? Why do some people just seem to have this incredible energy in their 70s and 80s, while others feel, well, just worn down? The answer, as it turns out, isn't really found in the body.
And that brings us to the real heart of this whole thing. We're going to shift gears now from the body's hardware to the mind's operating system, because this is where the real magic happens. This is the game changer. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that youthful spirit. It's not about trying to stop aging. It's about being so busy living, so engaged with life, that your age just becomes a number in the background.
So it all really boils down to three big ideas, these invisible pillars of aging well. First up, curiosity. You got to keep learning new things. It literally builds what neuroscientists call cognitive reserve, keeping your brain sharp and flexible. Second is purpose. Now, this doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. It can be as simple as taking care of a pet. And third, adaptability. Just being able to roll with the punches and embrace change instead of fighting it.
And here's one of the best perks of getting older. You just stop caring so much about what other people think. You're not chasing approval anymore. You've been there, done that, and you get way more comfortable just being you. It's this incredible sense of freedom.
All right, now for one of my favorite parts. We're always talking about the downsides of getting older, but what about the good stuff? Research actually shows there are some pretty awesome and surprising benefits that come with time.
80 plus? What on earth could this number be talked about?
Yep, you heard that right. A study found that while older women might have sex less often, their level of satisfaction actually goes up. Women over 80 were more likely to say they were satisfied than women in their 50s, 60s, or 70s. How about that? Definitely not what you hear every day.
And it just keeps getting better. Forget that grumpy old person stereotype. The science says the exact opposite happens. We actually tend to get more agreeable and even happier as we go through our 60s. And get this, older adults consistently report feeling less stressed than younger people. I think we could all use a bit of that.
Okay, so we've looked at the physical stuff and the super powerful mindset shifts. Now let's wrap it all up into a practical toolkit. What can you actually do to build a thriving life for yourself?
Let's start with the basics, your physical health. Moving your body every day is huge. One study showed that hitting 8,000 steps a day was linked to a 51% lower risk of death. Amazing. Then there's diet. Think lots of fruits, veggies, whole grains. And please do not skimp on sleep. It's literally your body's repair crew. Oh, and if you smoke, it is never ever too late to stop. Quitting, even in your late 50s, can add about 4 years back to your life. Next up, keeping that mind fired up. Remember that pillar of curiosity? This is it in action. And it's more than just doing a crossword puzzle. One fascinating study had older adults learn a really demanding new skill, like digital photography. And guess what? Their memory actually improved. The key is to truly challenge yourself and always stay curious.
All right, but this next one. This might just be the most important piece of the entire puzzle: social connection. Harvard did this incredible 80-year study, and after all that time, the single biggest predictor of who was healthy and happy later in life, it wasn't their cholesterol. It wasn't how much money they had. It was the quality of their relationships. Let that sink in. And really, that's what this all boils down to. This quote just nails it. The goal isn't to fight a defensive battle against time. It's about playing offense. It's about proactively filling your life with things that matter: movement, learning, purpose, and people. So that's the big question I want to leave you with. This isn't about something you start thinking about when you turn 65. It starts right now. So based on everything we just talked about, what's one small thing you can do today to start adding a little more life to your years? Thanks for watching.